welcome back to Kane's Corner on a beautiful Friday afternoon. I'm Matt Kane, always here, always ready to talk some sports. We got a big day ahead of us. The match was a great one. We got some, the NBA Finals are going on. Kyler Murray's back at OTAs. A good episode, a good show coming out today. Make sure you stay tuned, watch it all. But before you do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button to follow along, and, get all the updates for this show. Make sure you follow on Instagram as well. A lot of Instagram reels that have been doing well, a lot of posts, a lot of polls. I want to hear from you guys, so Instagram's the best way to do so, or the comments right here on YouTube. Like I said, the match, finally, we got what we wanted. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers win that one. We're going to talk about that. But before we get into it, we got the jersey of the day, second edition. Of course, I had to rock the Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers home jersey of Aaron Rodgers, the greatest player to ever play in the green and yellow. I had to rock it because he hit the game winner. He hit that game winner in the match over Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Tom Brady with Aaron, they got the win. This is Aaron's second win. It's coincidentally his second game winner putt to seal the deal. I mean, what can I say? His clutch gene is obviously it's in golf, but it's not in football, I guess, since a lot of NFC championships that have been gone down the drain. But what I thought about the match, I watched all of it. I was impressed. I was entertained. I'm necessarily not impressed about the golf skills because, God forbid, they probably almost killed someone yesterday. It was so bad that I'm pretty sure there was four drives that weren't that probably made it into the fairway that wasn't a hole that was a par 3, par 4. They were not consistent on any of their drives, but that just made it better because Charles Barkley was hilarious with JJ Watt, and it was entertaining. It was fun to watch. It was competitive. I mean, we got to see everyone's personality come out. Patrick Mahomes, very relatable guy, had to crack some cold ones to get his arms moving, to get his game better, and he did. Patrick Mahomes I was probably the most impressed of because I knew what Aaron Rodgers could do. I knew Tom Brady wasn't that great, at least compared to his football career. So Patrick Mahomes went out there, and he impressed me. He played great golf, and to be honest, if Josh Allen wasn't his teammate, he had someone better who gave him one more stroke, they would have won that match. Josh Allen was kind of the guy who was happy to be there. What else can I say? I mean, I feel like Josh Allen didn't really fit with these three other guys. No offense to him, but Josh is a very young guy. I like Josh Allen. I think he's a great quarterback. He's a great young man, too. Carries himself well on and off the field. But, I mean, we're talking about 3 Super Bowl champions, and Josh was just sitting there. He doesn't have an MVP, but he's a Wyoming boy. So it was good to see him out there. I think he brought a little of that, a little good trash talk, but he was the kid of the group. He was the kid of the group of men. Tom Brady probably had the best trash talk by far. And he's not that good at golf, but what he does bring is charisma. He brings his personality out on the golf course. Jokes around with the guys, jokes around with Charles Barkley. Just see all those interactions were entertaining. And then Aaron Rodgers, he was the guy. I'm pretty sure he just did not listen to any of the commentation. He was totally in the zone. He wanted to win that match, and they went out and they won it. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, there's a point in the match where after Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes tied it up and they ended up taking the lead, that was when it switched. The flip switched for Brady and Rodgers. They went in full win mode. They weren't really talking that much, and they clicked. They got back on. They tied the match back up, and then they won it. So I think the true winners were the born winners. The true winners were the ones that know how to win, know how to come out and win. But it was fun to watch. I'm excited to see what they bring out next year. I think they benefit a lot with 4 athletes that aren't golfers. Last year was Phil Mickelson and Bryson DeChambeau joining Rodgers and Brady, but I think they benefit more with 4 athletes who have no clue what they're doing, because the worse the shot, the better it is, in my opinion. If I was a fan, I would not go, or if I did go, I would be looking at a distance or behind the golfers, because Josh Allen hit someone in the hand. I think Brady was close to hitting someone. Rodgers probably was too. Mahomes. They all probably were really close to hitting someone if they didn't. So if I'm a fan there, I'm not. I mean, I'm not going. I'm making sure I'm a good distance behind them, because I don't want to get hit by the ball, especially when they're not professional golfers. They're amateurs. But as a television standpoint, I thought this was really well run. I love TNT, what they do with their broadcasts. So TNT did great, and I'm looking forward to next year, seeing who they could bring out. I think they need to keep Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers in the loop. Aaron Rodgers has won it 2 years in a row. I feel like you got to keep him on. Tom Brady, you're always going to keep Tom Brady on. But, maybe adding a Drew Brees, a Steph Curry if he's not playing in the NBA Finals, a Peyton Manning. I don't know. I think there's so many great athletes that you could choose for this, because, athletes, they're golfers after their career. So I loved it. I'm looking forward to next year. Looking forward to who they bring out. But like I said, entertaining. Charles Barkley did fantastic. I'm kind of disappointed he's not going to be in any of these NBA Finals games. I heard that, he's going straight off into vacation mode for the summer. So no Charles Barkley in the NBA Finals, but we still have a tremendous NBA Finals match. You have Steph Curry on one side alongside Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney. And on the other side, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Robert Williams, Derek White, Deuce Tatum on the bench. It's a great matchup. And I'm not going to surprise anyone with my pick, and I'm not here to do that. I already said I've been totally out about it. I said Steph Curry's going to win. The Warriors are going to win. I said they were going to win ever since the end of the first round over the Celtics. Though they're going to beat the Celtics. I think they have maybe not the better roster, but I think they have the better coach, the better based on how I feel like they play. I feel like the offense is better, and the defense maybe isn't that better, but it's 2 great defensive teams where it's all going to come down to the offense, and I'm going to trust the 3-point shooters rather than nothing against Boston, but I trust the 3-point shooters over Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, so on and so forth. So not a shocker there. Warriors, I think, are going to win it, but I'm here to answer the question that I've seen so much news about this. It's who is this better for? Who does this championship mean more for their legacy? Steph Curry or Jayson Tatum? And I've seen so many people go in and say Steph Curry. I've seen so many people say that Steph needs this. They're like, Steph needs this for his legacy. He hasn't had a Finals MVP, and they've won the Finals 3 years. Kevin Durant had 2 of those MVPs, and Iguodala had 1 of them. He needs this for his legacy. Man, cut the crap. He doesn't need this for his legacy. It's Steph Curry. Why does Steph Curry need a Finals MVP to make him seem like he's better? Steph is an all-time player, and I have an all-time list coming up, but Steph is an all-time player. He's a 2-time MVP. He's leading the team that has won 3 championships. He's leading a dynasty. He doesn't need any Finals MVP to help his legacy. If he wins the Finals MVP like I have him this year, nothing changes. Nothing changes on my list. Nothing changes how I think of him. I already think highly of him. Nothing's going to change. Steph doesn't need this. You look back into the NBA Finals previously that he's played in. Sure, he hasn't been the person scoring the most. Obviously, that was Kevin Durant. But Steph was a threat. And the defenses that he went against, made him their biggest threat. Steph was getting double teamed. He was always, everyone had an eye on him on defense, and if you didn't have an eye on him, then you were done for. Steph was the biggest threat, and sure, they were looking at Steph more than KD. And what happens when that happens? KD's going to get open. KD's going to score. Steph doesn't need a Finals MVP to make him better. He's not going to move anywhere on the legacy board if he wins if he wins the championship and wins the Finals MVP. He just isn't. A Finals MVP doesn't mean that much to me, at least, because listen, if you got to the finals and you're producing on that winning team and you're one of the biggest producers on that speaks more than one player winning the MVP. Sure, you have players like LeBron James, who is much better than maybe not much better because Kyrie was there, but better than players on his team. Toronto Raptors. Kawhi Leonard was much better than everyone on his team. Pascal Siakam was good, but Kawhi was great. Sure, that matters. But when you have a team that has great shooters like Clay and Steph, a great defender who to be honest, I think they're nothing without Draymond Green, and an all-time player in Kevin Durant. The four of them making the finals, that means so much more than Kevin Durant winning a Finals MVP. I don't think this championship will affect... Okay, it'll affect Curry's legacy, of course, because if they win, their dynasty continues. That looks even better. But a Finals MVP, it doesn't mean anything to Steph. And I don't think Steph really... To be honest, I don't think Steph cares, and I don't think anyone should care if Steph wins the Finals MVP. Now, if he plays so really bad, but they still somehow win, which I doubt will happen, then you could talk about it that way. But no, this championship 100% means more for Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics. Boston has been so close to the NBA Finals every single year, and they're finally here. Great. What can you do with it? The Boston Celtics are the hottest team in the NBA right now. And they have been the hottest team in the NBA ever since they flipped the switch in January. Great. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what you could do in the biggest stage in your sport. If they get it done, then that speaks volumes to Jayson Tatum's ability on the court and off the court as a leader. Jaylen Brown as a role player. Marcus Smart on the defensive end. Ime Udoka in his first year coaching. That speaks volumes. So this championship 1,000% means more to Jayson Tatum and that Boston Celtics squad. There's no question about it. The Celtics are the balls, and let's see what they could do with it. I'm interested. I think I said Warriors in 6. I'm going to keep it that way. I don't think it's going to go to 7, but I would prefer it go to 7. I as a fan, I'd prefer Warriors in 7, but I can't wait for it. The first game is tonight, the day I'm recording this, so it's going to be yesterday for you guys if you're watching on the first day that this goes out. So you'll already know the score. My quick guess is Warriors win the game. A close game, but I think they'll win it. But hey, sit down, watch some NBA Finals this week, and be excited about it because it's a great match. So Kyler finally returns to these OTAs, and a lot of stuff is flurrying in the sports world. Is Kyler gonna get a new deal? Is he here for good? When are the Arizona Cardinals going to sign him? And I'm here to listen. If I'm the Arizona Cardinals, if I'm their GM, I am signing Kyler Murray this instant. I understand that players, and I used to, 2 years ago, if you asked me this, I would say don't sign Kyler. But I understand why quarterbacks want new deals, especially ones like Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, because they can go out 1 year and they can break an ankle, tear an ACL, do something while they're running. They could get sacked and hurt. And after that happens, you're done for. Like, your contract your value will decrease instantly, and nobody's going to want you. Well, sure, someone's going to want you, but nobody's going to want you for the money you probably are worth. Listen, Kyler Murray has so much to learn from. He wasn't that great last year, in my opinion. In my opinion, I don't think he's that great of a quarterback, but the Arizona Cardinals need to sign him because you look at everywhere else in this league. There are teams like the Seattle Seahawks who don't have a quarterback. There are teams struggling to find a quarterback. Washington Commanders get Carson Wentz. Indianapolis Colts, Matt Ryan, Marcus Mariota, Atlanta Falcons. You have a guy who's better than all three of those quarterbacks, and the market is probably lower than it will be in 2 years, 3 years, when you sign Kyler Murray for that deal. So, sure, you might be waiting for the best value for him, the best time to grab him, but I'm going to tell you right now, Kyler Murray's asking price and his value is going to keep increasing as quarterbacks get more money. It's just how the way goes. It's just how simple it is. That's how life goes. It's how it happens. So you look at what Dallas did. Dallas signed Dak probably 2 years after they should have signed him. And look how much money Dak is bringing in. Dak isn't worth that money. No, he's 100% not worth that money. I'm not going to say he is. But you could have paid Dak so much less money 2 years ago. And he would be on a contract that probably means more. That probably is more close to his value right now than he's getting currently. It's just, with these kind of quarterbacks, you have to sign them at the perfect time. And I think with Kyler heading into year 3, year 4, this is the time to sign him. This is the time to develop him, help him. They're obviously already bolstering up their offense, but help him and be a little patient because sure, he's going to make mistakes, but I think he's going to be a good enough quarterback to start for the Arizona Cardinals for 5 to 10 years, barring any injuries. But Arizona, go out there, sign Kyler, and help him. Because I'm telling you, I look 2 years into the future, it's not going to be pretty. So, I've done rankings, I've done a lot of top 10s, so I thought me and my friends 2 weeks ago, we talked about this. We talked about point guards. I think point guards are probably the most important position on the NBA court. You either get a point guard who is a floor general, maybe you get a three-point shooter, maybe you get a guy who is incredibly athletic and he drives to the hoop and makes that contact dunk or that reverse layup. A lot of different point guards, a lot of different types of point guards. And I think it's very interesting to think about the history of the NBA and their point guards. I have a top 10 list. I'm not going to go through the top 10 because of the time constraints, but I do want to give you my top 5 NBA point guards and kind of go a little more in depth, not too much, but a little more in depth about these players. So, number 5, and I think number 5 and 4 are very close, but I think I have number 5, Steve Nash. Steve Nash is my favorite player of all time. I've grown up watching Steve Nash. I loved him. He's a great passer. He's a great three-point shooter. He's a great leader. And, he's a 2-time MVP, and that plays a huge, huge consideration into this. He didn't win an NBA finals, but I don't think that really matters because, he didn't have the best teams, and he also had to go through Kobe Bryant most of the time. So Steve Nash is a tremendous point guard. He's number 5 for me. Number 4, a player like Steve Nash, John Stockton. John Stockton is the best passer of all time. I think that's set for me. I think Chris Paul can make a name for that, but I think John Stockton's passing and his prestige, and he didn't win NBA finals, but he also played Michael Jordan. Like the competitive was huge in that time. So he's going to be number 4 for me. I think if he did win, maybe it would take a little while to get to 3 because number 3, I have Oscar Robertson, the Big O. He was a great point guard. I think he's very underrated because I don't hear his name a lot. When you talk about the NBA history and who was great. I don't hear his name that often, so I could be wrong. I think he's an underrated player, incredibly talented, and he went in every day on a team that wasn't like one of those all-time teams, and he performed very well. He was a great player, and I think, I would love to have him up more, but the two players ahead of him are just better. Number 2, I have the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry. Listen, I talked about Steph earlier. I don't think in a finals MVP is going to help him get to number 1. So that had something to do with my whole rant about the finals MVP and whether it means much to Steph. Steph Curry is one of the best players in the NBA right now, and I think all time you can make a consideration for him to be up there. Most influential, most changed the game, Steph Curry's up there. The three-point shooting was not very prolific until Steph Curry came into the league. Now, what is everyone trying to do? They're trying to shoot three-pointers. They're trying to be the next Steph Curry. So I think with his impact, his influence on the game, and his incredible 2-time MVP, 3-time NBA champion, leader of a dynasty, great shooter, great player, great playmaker. He's just immensely talented, and he's number 2 for me. The reason why I don't have him number 1 is because number 1 is the greatest NBA point guard of all time. He's a top 5 all-time NBA player that I'll go through maybe in another show. But that is Erwin Magic Johnson. Magic was this fantastic player. He could play point guard. He could play shooting guard. He could play small forward. He could play power forward. Not sure if he could play center, but that man was tremendous. He could play anywhere on the court that you need him to, but when he was a point guard, he was a point guard. He was a floor general. He would pass the ball and he would score. His career ended up cutting short, unfortunately, due to contracting HIV and AIDS. That whole shebang. You probably learned about. I learned about that in health class. I'm sure everyone else did, but his career ended up short, which was a shame because I think Magic Johnson would have been probably top 3 for me. I think he's 4 for me. I'd have to think about it again in terms of NBA all-time players. But listen, he was the leader. He was the poster boy for that Showtime Lakers squad, that Showtime Lakers dynasty. So Magic has to be 1. I don't think you could put Steph over Magic. Not right now, at least. Maybe Steph if he goes off for the next 4 years, 5 years, whatever's left of his career. But yeah, I think that's a pretty solid list. Like I said, Steve Nash, John Stockton are close. Oscar Robertson's kind of in his own area. Steph and Magic are not too close, but they're you could reach him. That's gonna end another great show. We covered a lot here. This stuff, I love doing it, and I wish I could do it for longer. You see Colin Cowherd do this for 3 hours. You see Skip and Shannon have a show for 2.5 hours. I wish I could do this longer, but I just can't, I don't want to keep you guys here for like 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2 hours and 45 minutes. So, I try to do as much as I can, but I love talking about this. Honestly, it's been like 24 minutes here, and it feels like it's been 5. I can just keep talking, so it's better I shut up now than later. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow on Instagram. Comment what you want to see below. Do anything. Reach out to me if you want to be a guest. Anything. I'd be down to do so. I'm not sure the next time I'll be on, but until then, see you next time.